talks about the definition of congruent polygons, right? Now, what it says is two polygons are congruent if and only if their corresponding parts are congruent. What does the word corresponding mean?
Same position.
Same position. Take a point, Slytherin. Same position. So let's look at this triangle that they gave us for reference. Do you see how it has a bunch of rainbows and a bunch of tickies?
Yes.
The rainbows match up with each other. So angle A is congruent to which angle on the second triangle based on the rainbows? Not this, based on the rainbows. Angle A is congruent to H, because they both have two rainbows. If you need to darken those rainbows in, darken those rainbows in.
I was looking at the wrong one.
It's fine, Pumpkin. That's why we're practicing. Yes. Alright, now let's look at angle B. Based on the rainbows, which angle does it match up with?
J.
Angle J. And then angle C matches up with which one? K, because it has how many rainbows?
3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Now, do you think the tickies on the sides match like the rainbows do? Or that they matter?
Yes.
They do. One ticky, AB, has to match up with the other one ticky, HJ. Is everybody with me? If we have two tickies on BC, where are the other two tickies? JK.
Hey, just get what's up.
Alright, three tickies on AC matches up with three tickies where? HK. It is very, very, very important that you pay attention to the order. And then when it's even naming the triangle, that matters as well. So they named our triangle as triangle ABC. The corresponding angles must match up in the way you name it. So if I start with A over here, I have to start with H on my second one. If B is in the middle, then J has to be in the middle over here. If C is in the middle, K has to be in the middle over here. So the way you name it matters. Does everybody understand? Let's write that in the PAL sign. The way you name it matters. Match up congruent angles. This is very, 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 very important. Yes, love.
Were you part of the filming for that thing? And you have to do?
When?
Yeah.
Next week. I'm going to get the camera this weekend.
You have a different type of camera?
I have to have a,
actual camera.
yeah, like I have to actually record us.
Forgot to do that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of bothered me.
And I think we've all turned in our slips, so that's good. Alright, so now let's apply what we just talked about to these. So this says, show that the polygons are congruent by identifying, thank you, all of the congruent corresponding parts, and then we're going to write our congruent statement. This is the congruent statement. This is what it's asking us to write at the end. It's asking us to make sure that we can put the triangle in order because the order matters. So this is our congruent statement. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
So it's like more proofs.
Kind of, we're getting there. But we're not actually like making a column proof. We're just stating that they're congruent. Alright, so angle A is congruent to which angle?
Okay.
Angle J. Good. Because they both have how many rainbows?
1.
Okay. Angle B is congruent to what? Oh, Blair.
Angle K.
Angle K. Angle C is congruent to
Angle L.
angle L. Does everybody see how we did that?
Yes.
Do you think we could handle sides as well?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with AB. Segment AB is congruent to which one? JK. Alright. BC is congruent to which one?
AL.
KL. Remember, look for the number of tickies. And AC is congruent to which one? JL. Now, before we go any further, does anybody have any questions on what we just did? Now, the last part. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. It says to write a congruent statement. So we're going to start by calling it triangle ABC. And remember, the way you name it matters. So if we started and we went ABC, how would we have to start on our second triangle?
JKL.
JKL. Awesome. Good. Take a point. All right. You ready to do number 2?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions? Yay! Okay.
I'm waiting for actual shapes for Same.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry that the first part of the book is triangles. I can't control that. But when we get into area and y'all have to find an area of all kinds of different polygons, I'm going to remind you of this moment when you wanted different shapes.
I don't. No, I'm okay with it, but the flat patch format always got like.
Triangles and lines?
No, but we can
Like, we haven't been dealing with shapes.
language arts.
I don't know what you want from me.
And it kind of seems like algebra a lot.
Yeah. This
Well, geometry is the application of algebra. So, yeah, it does. All right. Angle A is congruent to what angle? Angle D. Look at us go. And angle, ooh. Now, we have 2 angle Bs, right?
Yes.
So we have to name this one a specific way. So we're going to have to call it angle ABC so that we know we mean this angle right here. So
The entire triangle.
You can go into BCD.
hang on, let me answer her question, and then we're going to come back to what you just said. Say it to me again.
What is the triangle?
What you mean?
If you said it like that, isn't that just the triangle?
No, we're just talking about that specific angle because there's 3 angles, right? There's ABC, there's BAC, and there's ACB. So remember, we use 3 points to name an angle, or if it's a triangle by itself, you can just use the
If
letter.
it was just a triangle, would it be ACB?
If we just had it like this, if you wanted to name the triangle, you can name it any other way.
So how do you know you're just talking about B?
So if we're just talking about this B, we call it angle ABC. If we're talking about the triangle, we would write a triangle in front of it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now, Justin said that ABC is congruent to, what'd you say?
BCD.
BCD. Why would that be true? Does it matter which way we write it? It doesn't on that. We could do BCD or we could do DCB as long as C is in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, both of you. DCB. All right, and our last one. Now, do we have 2 angles for C?
Yes.
We do. So we have to name it using 3 points. So I want someone besides Slytherin, Gryffindor, and Beauxbatons to name angle C. ACB. All right, good. Take a point. ACB is congruent to what angle? DBC. Good. Take a point. All right, y'all ready to do sides? Okay. AC is congruent to what? Let's do this quick so you can practice without me. All right. Please don't kick my towers. AB is congruent to? And BC is congruent to? Or BC, right? Either way. Take a point. Now, we need to name our congruent triangles. So, someone at Hufflepuff, name our first triangle, besides Grant. So, girl power. One of y'all over there.
Well, I mean, it's 2017. I can be wherever I want.
That's true, baby. But I want one of the ladies at your table to name our first triangle for me. Let's be quiet so that they can focus. Hush. Name this first triangle on the left. Get it together. No. You could help them. Look at you go. You could have done that without them telling you, couldn't you? You could have. Alright, so she said ACB. So she went 1, 3, 2. So what do we have to do on the other one?
Okay.
We have to go 1, 3, 2. So how would we name it?
DBC.
DBC. Take a point.
Why did Jarvis allow to answer?
Both of y'all take a point. Alright, do number 3 without me.
Why did Jarvis
Do 3 without me. Ask your group.
It's not really good.
Ask your group.
I have a question for you though. When I do like the
wait,
English
that was-
sign, do I have to put a little like curve? It's really annoying.
Okay. You guys want to go over there now?
Yep.
They don't have rainbows. Do we just do it by saying they don't have rainbows?
But you do have an angle that's congruent, right?
Well, yeah,
You
but
have
we
to do
have.
every single letter.
Because, like, on the first one we did, and then the second one we didn't.
What you talking about, Willis?
Because on the first one, we did, like, angle A, angle J.
We did that on the second one, too. We just named it differently because they were right beside each other.
There's 2 angle B's or some C's.
But since we don't have rainbows, we're just going to name the sides.
Do I do angle, triangle, FG?
But they can be loud.
FEG, so you went 93, 1. So you would go not KJL. 93, 1.
Where did you get the 3 from?
3 tickies? 1 ticky.
Oh.
That's a box? That means 90 degrees.
I was like,
Do I have to write it down?
In that way, yeah.
me next year I'm taking off.
Alright, did y'all get that EG is congruent to LJ?
Yes.
And did you write that FG is congruent to KL?
Yes.
Did you write that FE? KJ? Alright. And is there an angle that's congruent?
Yeah. I put EFG was congruent to JKS.
That's fine. Now, what about our triangles?
We have,
Oh, do they have to have the rainbow to be congruent?
I just said, oh, you talking before?
We're going to prove that later.
Oh, I still.
EFG is congruent to
JKS.
JKL.
Alright, so he said EFG, so you would do JK, perfect, is congruent to triangle JKL. Now, if you wrote it differently, that's fine as long as your way matches up on both sides.
What if we did EFG? Oh wait, never mind.
The DFG.
Now, if all 3 sides are congruent and one angle is congruent, do you think the other angles are going to be congruent?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Alright, do 4.
Yeah.
If you get 4 done, you don't have homework this weekend.
Lower
You can do it. Persevere in the face of danger.
right quick.